Erin Meyer, The Culture Map, Decoding How People Think, Lead, and Get Things Done Across Cultures. Dive into the world of cross-cultural communication with Erin Meyer's The Culture Map, Decoding How People Think, Lead, and Get Things Done Across Cultures. The book summary takes you through the challenges of interacting with people from various countries and backgrounds, and the importance of not being Lukuki Yamanai, or someone who cannot read the air. Uncovering the differences between low-context and high-context cultures, as well as shedding light on communication scales, evaluating scales, and persuasion styles, this engaging summary guides you through the complexities of working harmoniously with diverse cultures.
Understanding communication across cultures. Communication can be challenging when dealing with people from different cultures with varying temperaments, values, and senses of humor. To navigate these situations, we need to understand the differences between low-context cultures, where communication is precise and clear, and high-context cultures, where communication is more subtle and layered. No culture is entirely low or high context, and understanding the history and nuances of each culture is essential. When working with high-context cultures, it's important to listen for meaning beyond what is actually spoken and pay attention to body language. On the other hand, when working with low-context cultures, be as specific as possible and take the time to explain yourself clearly. In a multicultural environment, using the low-context style of communication is the most effective way as it results in fewer misunderstandings. The evaluating scale across cultures. Providing feedback is crucial in the workplace, but different cultures have varying communication styles that may lead to misunderstandings. The evaluating scale categorizes these styles into 4 groups: low context and direct feedback, high context and direct feedback, low context and indirect feedback, and high context and indirect feedback. Understanding these styles can help you adapt your feedback and reduce the likelihood of offense. High context and indirect cultures such as Japan prefer gentle feedback and private criticism, while direct cultures like Russia prioritize forthrightness and absolute descriptions. Adapting your behavior to match the preferred feedback style of the other person can help you be perceived as polite and supportive. Perceiving persuasion across cultures. The persuading scale consists of 2 reasoning methods: principles-first reasoning and applications-first reasoning. The former is deductive and uses general principles to draw conclusions, while the latter is inductive and presents a theory first before stating the facts that support it. Cultures differ in their preference for one type of reasoning over the other. The principles-first reasoning cultures, like France and Italy, focus on the why before they decide to carry something out. The application-first reasoning cultures such as the US and Canada, however, center on the how more than the why. These differences may lead to misunderstandings and frustrations in cross-cultural communication. To address this challenge, it is best to switch back and forth between explaining the principles behind your point and showing its practical application. When presenting a product, for example, start with presenting how it satisfies the principles-first mindset, then offer practical examples for the application-first audience. Cultural styles in leadership. Understanding the leading scale involving egalitarian and hierarchical cultures can help leaders improve their workflow and boost their effectiveness in multicultural settings. Culture plays a significant role in determining leadership styles in organizations. Depending on the country's culture, equality or hierarchy is valued in the workplace. While some countries like Denmark and the Netherlands embrace egalitarianism, others like China and Nigeria prioritize hierarchical structures. To effectively manage employees in egalitarian cultures, leaders should work collaboratively and encourage autonomy. Leaders should also respect their employees' opinions and facilitate discussion rather than supervising them. On the other hand, leaders in hierarchical cultures should communicate using a clearly defined hierarchy. They should encourage employees to offer their opinions and insights, making it clear that opinions are valued. Leaders should also assert their position and establish lines of authority, such as using formal titles and surnames. It's essential to note that countries may not fall in the same category because of their proximity. For instance, France and Sweden, both being European countries, hold distinct leadership styles. France has a more hierarchical structure, while Sweden's people's opinions are highly valued. In conclusion, understanding cultural differences is crucial when interacting with a multicultural workforce. Leaders must learn to adapt their leadership styles to accommodate various cultures to improve their workflow and effectiveness in multicultural settings. Understanding cultural differences in decision-making. Different cultures have varying decision-making methods that fall on a scale, with consensual on one end and top-down on the other. It's important to understand these differences when working in a multicultural environment to avoid misunderstandings. The Ringi system in Japan is an example of a highly consensual and hierarchical decision-making structure. When working with people from different cultures, it's crucial to agree on a decision-making method early on and clarify how much consensus is required. Major decisions should be reviewed to ensure understanding and acceptance by all parties involved. Trust and relationships in international business. Trust is necessary for successful business relationships, but its nature varies across cultures. Cognitive trust, based on experience, is common in task-based cultures like the US and the Netherlands. Affective trust, based on emotion, is more prevalent in relationship-based cultures like China and Brazil. Developing affective trust can be achieved by identifying commonalities with business colleagues in personal topics like family and music. Building relationships is more advantageous because it applies universally, unlike task-based trust which is confined to certain cultures. In international business, trust is a critical aspect of successful partnerships, but it manifests differently across cultures. Cognitive trust, based on reliable past experiences, is more common in task-based cultures such as the US and the Netherlands. Affective trust, based on emotions and personal experiences, is more prevalent in relationship-based cultures like China and Brazil. In China, guanxi, or establishing social connections, is integral to forming business agreements, highlighting the importance of fostering emotional bonds. Building relationships is not only critical in relationship-based cultures but also universally applicable, unlike task-based trust which is culture-specific. To develop effective trust, identifying commonalities such as shared interests in personal topics like family and music can demonstrate genuine interest and care beyond business transactions. Navigating cultural disagreements. In different cultures, the approach to disagreement varies. Confrontational cultures, such as those found in Israel or France, differentiate between an individual and their idea. In contrast, non-confrontational cultures, like Indonesia or Japan, view disagreements as an attack on the person. Emotional expression also plays a role, with some cultures, like Germany, disagreeing objectively without involving personal emotions. On the other hand, French culture is emotionally expressive, making it difficult to distinguish between criticism of an idea and a personal attack. To maintain relationships with different cultures, it's important to understand how disagreement is handled. In cultures that avoid confrontation, pre-meetings without the boss can help to prepare for criticism, promoting consensus rather than individual critique. When working with confrontational cultures, caution is advised, but it's not necessary to entirely shift to their style if it doesn't feel natural. Instead, engaging in relaxed debate can be a productive way to handle disagreements. Understanding cultural time perception. Different cultures have distinct approaches to time perception. The scheduling scale ranges from linear to flexible, with linear cultures like Germany and Switzerland prioritizing adherence to schedules and deadlines. In contrast, flexible cultures like Saudi Arabia and Kenya value adaptability and handle tasks as they arise. To work effectively across varying scheduling cultures, it's necessary to learn and emulate the people's methods and create team cultures that accommodate different norms. For instance, when interacting with linear cultures, plan meetings in detail, emphasize punctuality, and stick to the theme. When working with flexible cultures, plan without predetermined limits, and adapt to meet emerging needs. Additionally, building a team culture with consistent scheduling rules could be helpful. One could use an exercise in which group members imagine they are from a linear culture like Switzerland, and for every lateness, the person concerned contributes €5 to the year-end party.
Having explored key concepts such as communication styles, feedback methods, leading scales, decision-making strategies, and time management across cultures, Erin Meyer's The Culture Map provides you with valuable insights and tips on how to work effectively with people from a wide range of cultural backgrounds. By acknowledging, understanding, and adapting to these cultural differences, you'll be better equipped to navigate the complex landscape of cross-cultural communication and collaboration. As you embark on your journey of learning and growth in the global workplace, don't forget the importance of building trust and being sensitive to the preferences and needs of colleagues from diverse cultures.